Okay, so in this video, we're going to just look at the paper one assignment, our first paper assignment, and just I'm going to give you just some explanations in the hope of making things clear to you. So you could find, I just did this without telling you, on the course material page, right at the top is paper assignment instructions. Once you go there, you have the instructions both for paper one, which is due first, and then paper two, which is due later in the semester. Again, I'm going to open this in a new window. All right, so you have this, hopefully you've downloaded a copy of this. I always recommend doing that, download or print it, so that you don't have to be online in order to look at the instructions if you want to. Two due dates to keep in mind, both are in October. October 1st, you have to give me the article, the peer-reviewed article that you plan to use for this paper, and then the paper itself is due on the 15th. So this, I'm calling this a paper. It really is more of a critical thinking assignment. You're not writing on a topic. You're not necessarily even going to write in paragraph form for me. You really are simply going to be answering specific questions about three different sources. The first source that you're going to need to find is a peer-reviewed article. And this first page of the assignment talks to you about what peer-reviewed articles are, and how they're different from other publications. You have a link here that brings you to our library website, the library guide for Psych 111, Psych 1011. We've changed our course numbers. If you look at that, it also tells you how to find peer-reviewed articles using the library databases, which is how you have to do it for me. Peer-reviewed articles are research articles. They're meant for professionals in the field. They're high-quality articles. And so part of what, if you don't already know how to do that, part of what this assignment teaches you how to do is how to understand what a peer-reviewed article is, how to locate them, and how to decide whether an article serves your purpose or not. So before you do that, you're going to need to choose a topic. And your topic can be anything related to human behavior or experience. And so it has to be a psychology article, not an article that's about liver function, for example. Even though that's about human experience, it has to be about emotional or behavioral experiences, or thinking, cognitive experiences or behaviors. So think about something that's interesting to you. Think about what you're majoring in, think about your hobbies, think about things that maybe are relevant to your family or to yourself in some way, and then choose a topic. You should always feel free to run topics by me. I will be helpful in either telling you whether that's an appropriate topic, whether it's psychology. Most things will be. But also to help you think about how psychological research articles will talk about that. So what terms to use, why it might be useful to narrow down your topic rather than searching and finding 100,000 articles that you might use. So I can be useful and rely on me for that. So you're going to choose a topic. You're going to then have to find your three sources. And the peer-reviewed article is the source that will be probably for many of you most new to find, and certainly for all of you be the more time-consuming source to find. The other two sources are websites. I've given you another link here that tells you how to evaluate whether a website is good for academic use. And so make sure you read that link as well. And you're going to need the one peer-reviewed article, you can see here, and two websites, two different websites, not different pages from the same website. So you can't get two different pages from the National Institute of Health's website, for example. They need to come from different sites entirely. One of those websites should be what you've evaluated using the information I've given you to be good for academic use, and one that will be not good or bad for academic use, or at least not sufficient for academic use. And so you'll have your three sources. You're going to submit the peer-reviewed article to me by October 1st so that I can approve it and tell you you're on the right track and that this would be a good article to use. If I tell you it's not, right, so it's worth 30 points to do that. If I tell you it's not good, you'll get a 0 with the opportunity to find a new article and earn those 30 points. So And then here are the sets of questions that you need to answer. So for the peer-reviewed article, you see these 3 bullets here. You're going to tell me what type of research did they carry out, what data collection methods did they use, and then explain to me why peer-reviewed sources in general are good and trustworthy to use for academic use, and what makes the specific article you used a good choice for academic information. Before you're writing this paper, we will in class learn about how to identify types of research and also how to identify data collection methods. So you're going to have all the tools you need before you get there. When you're answering these questions, for each of these sections, so the peer-reviewed article should be a section. You can, kind of tell me, this is the section for peer-reviewed article. And then you can answer these 3 questions in bullets just as I've listed them here. And so you can say the type of research used in this article is, and then tell me how you know that. And then you'll do the same thing for your other 2 sources. Your other 2 sources, remember, are internet sources, they're websites. You're going to give me the URL at the top of that section, right? So you're going to take each one of them separately. You'll give me the first URL, you'll answer these 4 questions about that website, and then you'll give me the second URL and answer the 4 questions for that website. And for the websites, the 4 questions, right, are about whether the author is using objective evidence, whether they're relying on representative samples or information to give their evidence. Talk to me about who their audience is and who can access it. And overall, how do you think it compares in terms of quality, in terms of validity or accuracy to the peer-reviewed article? And so, again, we'll talk about objective evidence. We'll talk about representativeness before we get to October. Right, so 3 sections. And you can answer, again, in bullets. You are going to have to attach the peer-reviewed article when you submit your paper. You'll have to submit the article to me earlier for those 30 points, but then when you submit your paper, you'll submit the article again in that Dropbox, so I have it to look at the same time. In terms of grading, you can see that you get 30 points for submitting the peer-reviewed article ahead of time, and then the paper is worth 100 points, and you can see how that is divvied up. You are going to need to use APA style just for a reference list for this paper. So I don't need a cover page or sections or citations, just the reference list at this point. And I've provided at the end of the assignment some detailed information about how to create an APA style citation for the peer-reviewed article, and then I have links for APA style help more generally. Okay? But you should ask questions about the paper as we move along. You should ask questions about APA style as we move along. As I've said in the Blackboard organization video, you've got a practical questions link in every one of your chapter folders. That's a good way of raising your hand and asking a question that lots of people might be interested in seeing an answer to. If you want to ask privately, you can always email me. Okay? So hopefully that helps.